Is the next trading opportunity for Bitcoin coming? If you are interested in this issue, please follow me. You are very welcome to join the WSOT Cointo team. Currently we are ranked 12th in the world. So this is undoubtedly Chinese as long as the first place is in the top 10 in the world. The prize pool of $8 million can be shared. At present, joining the Cointo team is your best choice in the Chinese theater. And in the last few days of registration, we will start from joining me from the friends of the team. Draw 3 friends. Each friend will get 30 USDT. And now many teams have been disbanded because of insufficient numbers. So joining the Cointo team is the best choice for you to squeeze in the rankings and share the bonus. Then we will do it now. Draw 3 friends out. Of these 765 people, well, let's draw 3 friends, number 399, number 601, number 693. What about these 3 friends? Let's see who those 3 friends are, and they will get 30 USDT. The rewards are the same as our comments at the bottom of the video these days. So here is the way to win. Let's go back to the Bitcoin board. Now, let's emphasize this trend again from the daily line. The line is once again. But what we want to talk about this time is different. Let's open an indicator called ATR. It mainly looks at volatility. Let's take a look. In fact, our current volatility has already come to us. The lowest point in the past half year is probably at this position. If we use a horizontal line to represent it, ATR actually has a lag. Lag, in fact. Most of the indicators have a lag. Let us take a look at what happened when ATR was at a low point. This position is also like, for example, when we were in this position before. Let's review these places. First of all, we had this low point of ATR at that time because we oscillated for too long in the back. Then after the breakout, hey, his fluctuations reached the minimum. After the fluctuations were small, there was a wave of upswing. And we were in this position. We just talked about it. You might say, hey, his fluctuations in this place are not small. Why did his ATR come to a recent low point? That's because what we were going through in front of us was the volatile market. He expressed it only after he reached this position. Then you can find his corresponding place. Later, he started a wave of rising. Of course, we will cover the market now. Let's talk about why our ATR value also had a low point when we were in this place. The reason is because of our shock in the previous place. It's too narrow, and it's been too long. Let's come again. The narrow range of our current shock is actually the most exaggerated time in the past. There is another place that I think is also worth it. Our recovery is when we were at the lowest point of this position. In fact, it was our entire market. When the market rose violently, he walked out of the lowest point of our volatility. Let's take a look at why. Before a bullish market starts, we will all go out of a low point of volatility. In fact, this is quite easy to explain. Because when we are rising, the increase is usually very violent. Otherwise, too many people will get on the bus. If the car is too heavy, the resistance will not be good to pull the market. You can see that the fluctuation rate of our relatively good gains in the previous few waves must be very high. So, if we correspond to the corresponding ATR, you can find that the ATR is in the market. Keep increasing it until we hit the peak of the stage, and our volatility will start to drop. This is actually quite understandable and reasonable, because after we hit the high point of the stage, there will be a callback. That callback, its amplitude will gradually converge, and after reaching the limit, it will break through and start the next wave of market prices. Therefore, we are gradually converging. That is, our ATR is gradually shrinking and narrowing until our adjustment is completed. It usually does not. It will be when our volatility reaches the minimum. The adjustment will be over, and then we will start our next wave of market prices. Now I think we are very noteworthy, because in this place, if he started the next wave of market prices, then I think it is very, very worthwhile for us to grasp. Then you can see that we are actually at the top. I believe this does not need to be said. The strongest resistance we are now on the top is probably at this place of 30,000 to 31,000. We have come to this place twice in a row. The first time I touched it. At this position. And then we touched it again. These two touches were actually failures. And there was no breakthrough and fell back. However, there is a significant difference in it, which is the magnitude of its fall. You can find it. When we touched the upper resistance for the first time, its drop was very large. It dropped by about $5,000 or $6,000. But this time, you can find that the drop is getting smaller. Can we explain it as the supply is declining? Or the resistance has decreased? At the position of 30,000 to 31,000 resistance? I think it is possible. I think it can be explained in this way. The decrease does not mean that we can go long. In fact, the magnitude of our fall this time, if it is really shorter than the previous wave, the magnitude of our fall in the last wave can be determined because we started to rise later. We haven't finished this wave. Will it end here? It's not necessarily, maybe. We'll walk a little bit more before it ends. At that time, it's hard to say who will be longer and who will be shorter in these two waves, so we have to wait for us after this wave of callbacks is over. For example, we have a relatively clear signal, such as the day on line. Or let's break the bottom and come back to 2B. And the volume can be significantly swallowed, etc. If there is a signal, I will think it is an opportunity we can consider. Now I think that although we have come to the test twice, and if we go up the test, the probability of his breakthrough will be much higher than the previous two times. However, I think we have no signal now. If there is a signal, then I think we will touch 30,001 again, and the chance of breaking through will increase. As you can see, when we touched for the first time, we had a relatively good and continuous rise in front of us, and then we started to fall back. What about our second wave? It is a relatively continuous rise. Then it falls back after encountering it, but the magnitude and intensity of the fall are different. You can see that. This kind of shock is very violent in front of us, and the volume can be compared with the current short position. The volume can also be called back. It is more obvious than what is coming now. So I would think that if we test further, the probability of his breakthrough will be higher than that of the previous two times. In fact, you can find that we are in this time. The upper resistance position has been delayed for a long time. You can find that if the supply is strong, it will not take long before it hits it, and it will fall back immediately. But you can see that we are in this position. We have been testing for many days, before and after here. After walking for about 20 days, we tested these positions. Compared with the previous place, the number of days of continuous testing has increased. This is definitely the performance of the reduction of resistance, especially in our 30,001. I believe it is good for such an important resistance to appear. But we have not yet had such a good opportunity to do more. Well, we look at the small level. From the small level, in fact, it is quite good for the bulls. Unfavorable. Quite unfavorable. How do you look at it? You can find that we are actually right at the moment. If we say that we are in the background, such as the daily line, he is going long. That's right. But you can find that if we are looking for support to do long. Is this a support? It is definitely a support. You can find out how we look for support. In fact, we judge its effectiveness by looking at its contact points. To a certain extent, you can find that the contact points we have in these places are very obvious. This position must be a support, and it must be an exchange. Should we go long in this place? At this time, we have to distinguish this position. The effective degree of supporting him is the strength of this support. In fact, I would think that the strength of this support is relatively insecure. He is relatively weak. How can you say that? You can find that if a good support is touched at that time, we should have a rebound immediately. Especially, the stronger the rebound, the larger the rebound, the better. However, you can find that our current price has been completely attached to our price. I believe this is definitely not a good thing for the bulls. It's a good thing if we think about it from another angle. If it has a short position, If it's a short position, I think that if we really want to take such a large-scale opportunity, we really have to wait for our upward trend line to be broken. This trend line is broken. If it breaks through and falls below, then I think the opportunity will gradually lean towards the short side. Well, let's cut it to 1 hour. And then cut it to 1 hour. In fact, there is nothing to say. I also believe that we are still in the game now. What didn't tell the winner is that he hasn't widened the distance yet, because there is no fluctuation in the market at all. But our next fluctuation will be very critical, because the game time is limited. And within this limited time, we must seize it. If we have a good opportunity to get a good band, then our team can share the bonus. And I think we have the best chance to share the bonus this time. We were actually ranked 11th last time. At the end of this time, we only need to squeeze in the front. We can share the bonus with 10 people. We are now the undisputed #1 in the Chinese-speaking area. So if you are still hesitating, which team you still want to join, you are very welcome to join our team. According to the rules, even if you only need to complete the award conditions, and the rules are not too harsh. As long as our team wins the award, you can still share the prize money. Why not join the team that has the best chance to share the prize money at the beginning? There is nothing to see for an hour. Let's look back at it for 4 hours. Well, let's draw this. Well, this is what I'm most concerned about right now. This is the current form. Look up and down. I think it will be our wave of shocks, which ends a very iconic event. So we can focus on our trend line, and so on. This is a big level. Let's not look at this one for now. When will the downward trend line be broken? Next is the support below us. Which side can't hold it first? This is the focus of what I am watching on a relatively short-term line. Thank you very much. Everyone is very welcome. You can like, subscribe, and share my video. Turning on the little bell is the greatest support for me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.